Hey everyone, I'm Serena and I'm 61 years old. I have been happily married to my husband Phil for 35 wonderful years. We have built a life full of love and it's been a peaceful journey. We did the whole family thing and raised our amazing daughter. And today I want to talk about her, Maria, and her son, aka my grandchild Joe. Let me take you back 2 years. It all started with a phone call from my son-in-law Kevin. It was one of those moments that sent shivers down your spine. Hi, Serena. Hey, it's quite unusual to hear from you. What's been going on lately? You sound serious. Is everything okay? Serena, I might want you to find a comfortable place to sit down because what I'm about to share is heavy, to say the least. Kevin, you're making me nervous. What's happened? Well, today Maria took the car. She wanted to treat herself and Joe with some ice cream. And? Why is there a tremor in your voice, Kevin? Breathe and tell me what's going on. Today, we lost both of them, Maria and Joe. A brutal car accident took them away. I can't fathom what life will be without them, Serena. It feels like the world has come crashing down. My world seemed to have stopped. I could not believe what Kevin was saying. Oh my, Kevin. My heart aches. Maria, my dear daughter, and Joe, my grandson, he was just 3. This pain is indescribable. They were too young. I need some time to collect myself, and so do you, I guess. I have to go now. Please. I would appreciate some solitude. Don't rush over right away. I will share the funeral details in a couple of days when I have them sorted. Take care, Kevin. You too, Serena. After that sad call from Kevin, I went to our bedroom where Phil was reading. I shared the heartbreaking news and Phil dropped his book. We hugged and cried. Our daughter Maria and our little grandson Joe were gone in a terrible accident. I wondered, why did this happen? What did they do wrong? For the next few days, Phil and I stayed quiet. We looked at old pictures, remembering the good times. It was tough, because Maria's laughter and Joe's playfulness were no longer with us. We told our family and everyone felt the same, heartbroken. Our relatives tried to comfort us, but nothing could fill the emptiness left by Maria and Joe. We waited for Kevin's call, thinking about how hard it must be for him to lose his wife and son at the same time. Kevin was always quiet but strong for Maria. Now he was alone, facing unimaginable sadness. And after a couple of days, we received a call from Kevin. Hey, Serena, how's Phil handling the news and how are you holding up? It's really tough, Kevin. Dealing with this kind of pain is something no parent or grandparent can ever be prepared for. Imagining your struggle losing Maria and Joe at the same time is just heart-wrenching. Yeah, it has been incredibly rough. Just the mere thought of them brings tears to my eyes, and every room I step into is like a constant reminder of their absence. It's just overwhelming, you know? Kevin, Phil and I want you to know that we're here for you. You treated our daughter with so much respect and love. It is the least we can do for you in return. Well, thank you guys for your support. I wanted to let you know the funeral is on the 9th. I'll text you all the details, and don't worry, I'll handle inviting everyone else too. We've decided to go for cremation for both of them. It's what Maria would have wanted. She must have shared that with you, I suppose. Phil and I are considering driving down there on our own. We will see you on the 9th. Sure thing, Serena. Pass along my greetings to Phil. On the 9th, Phil and I dressed in black and drove for 4 hours to the venue. We planned to attend the funeral and stay at a motel overnight, not wanting to bother Kevin too much. When we got there, it was empty. No one was around. We were on time, but confusion hit us. We called Kevin, but he didn't answer. Standing there worried and unsure, we wondered why no one else was there for the funeral. Phil, this is so strange. I expected to see people gathering for the funeral. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Kevin should have at least picked up the phone. I don't see a single employee we can ask about the funeral. Maybe there's a delay or something we don't know. We drove to Kevin's place and it was tough. The whole way I felt a lump in my throat like I might cry any moment. Going there, knowing what had happened, was really hard. When we reached, I took a deep breath. Their house, which used to be a happy place, now felt heavy with sadness. We walked to the front door and each step felt heavy. I knocked, not sure what we would find on the other side. The door slowly opened and there was Kevin, looking so different from before. Serena, Phil, I almost forgot about you. What about the funeral, though? What do you mean, you almost forgot? What about the funeral? Oh, about that. It was yesterday and you guys didn't show up. Yesterday? But today is the 9th. What's even happening? Are you telling us we missed our daughter's and grandson's funeral? I'm so sorry, guys. That's why I was wondering yesterday why you and your side of the family didn't show up. The thing is, the date was postponed to the 8th and I thought I had sent the text out to everyone, but I guess I missed you guys. Kevin, you cannot be serious right now. How could you forget us? We were certainly one of the most important parts of their lives. I could not help it, and I broke down into tears. Hey, Serena, calm down. What's done is done. Kevin, do you mind if we sit in the living room for some time? Actually, yeah, I'm so sorry, Phil, Serena. I urgently need to go somewhere. I'm getting ready. It's just a matter of 5 minutes. Serena can have a glass of water. We have been in the car for hours. I'm sorry about the whole funeral thing. I hope you can forgive me. I really didn't mean it. I know how important you people were to Serena and Joe, but right now is not a good time. I'll give you a call later. Kevin slammed the door in our faces. We got into the car, and once I was done with crying and being emotional, returning to our senses, I began to realize the strange actions of Kevin. Why was he acting so odd, forgetting to invite us to the funeral after it was rescheduled? It didn't make sense. No one could make such a huge mistake. The way he slammed the door in our faces after Phil requested just 5 minutes in the living room, it was all so peculiar. Anyhow, we decided to drive to a hotel and stay there for the night to rest. The next day we headed back home, and during this time there were no calls from Kevin, just a couple of texts expressing how sorry he was. I didn't pay much attention to them. I was kind of mad at Kevin. You could say grief had clouded my judgment, or perhaps I was just angry. I found myself in a confused state. So much had happened, from the devastating passing of Maria and Joe to us missing their funeral and Kevin's strange behavior. It was overwhelming. Weeks after the funeral, one day Kevin sent me some texts accompanied by a couple of photos. The images depicted a serene lake in the background with 2 urns placed on the passenger seat of a car. The text said, Hey, Serena, it's Kevin. I hope you're doing okay. I wanted to share something with you. Remember that spot near the lake where Maria and I went camping once? It was one of Maria's favorite places. She shared the news of Joe's pregnancy with me there. I thought it would be the right place to pour their ashes. I know we have not been talking and I understand why. The funeral mix-up, my strange behavior. I messed up. I'm truly sorry. I just hope one day you can find it in your hearts to forgive me. After seeing those pictures, my heart swelled up, not just for Maria and Joe, but also for Kevin. I realized the grief he was dealing with, and it was a perspective I hadn't fully considered. I showed the pictures to Phil, and he expressed a similar sentiment. We both understood the need to start letting go of the pain and anger and focus more on keeping Maria and Joe alive in our hearts and memories. Instead of responding to Kevin's text, I decided to make a call. It felt like the right thing to do, to bridge the gap that had formed between us. Kevin, how was your trip? It was a mix of emotions, Serena, painful, therapeutic, refreshing all at the same time. I felt like I needed it. I should have been more understanding the past few weeks. We were all dealing with our pain, weren't we? I'm really sorry. No need to apologize, Serena. I know I messed up. It's okay, Kevin. I just wanted to say I hope the future brings you the best. I'd like to meet you soon. You meant a lot to Maria, and that won't change now that she's gone. Our relationship is still here, and you can always come to us for anything or just to say hi. It would be a pleasure for both Phil and me. I'd like that, Serena. Your call today meant a great deal to me. Please take care of yourself. Months turned into a whole year, and during this time things stayed pretty much the same. The pain was slowly fading away. Kevin and I didn't really talk much, and maybe that's how it was supposed to be for us. Phil and I carried on with our usual lives. We enjoyed gardening and pottery, our simple hobbies. We're just an old couple, so our adventures were more about the everyday stuff. We had to keep moving forward. Our home was filled with memories, and the pictures on the walls telling stories of a life well lived, of love that stayed strong even when we faced loss. In the evenings, we'd sit on the porch, sharing stories, and sometimes we would just sit and enjoy the quiet. Then one day, out of nowhere, Kevin showed up at our house. Oh my God, Kevin! I had no idea you were here in the area. You should have given a heads up. I could have prepared some lunch for you. Hey, Serena, I actually came here specifically to see you and drop off some boxes of Maria's and Joe's stuff. Oh, you didn't want to keep anything? Nope, I kept what I needed. The rest, Paris suggested I give to you. Paris? Who's Paris? Oh, Paris, I forgot to mention her. She's my girlfriend, moved in about a month ago. Wow, it's only been a year and you've already moved on fast. Well, you know, I couldn't stay sad forever. I needed to. Anyway, where's Phil? He's at the hardware store getting some tools. I wish I could stick around to see him, but I'll just drop the boxes from my car's trunk onto your porch and head out. After Kevin left, I was honestly a bit shocked. A whole year had passed and he already had a girlfriend who moved in just a month ago. Well, people move at their own pace, I thought. Maybe Kevin was someone who liked to move fast in relationships. Despite the surprise, I was genuinely happy that he had found someone else to love, and I wished the best for him. As another year rolled by, a few months back, something significant happened, and that marked the beginning of the real and disgusting secret unfolding. One day I found myself at the grocery store on a solo mission to pick up a few things because some friends were coming over for dinner. Meanwhile, Phil was at home weaving his magic with his renowned apple pie, the talk of the town. As I wandered through the aisles, scouting for snacks before dinner, my attention was drawn to a little boy around 6 or 7 years old. He resembled someone quite a bit, but I couldn't quite get a clear view of his face. Not wanting to be a creep, I discreetly moved a bit closer, pretending to peruse the items on the shelves. The little boy was accompanied by his parents, and as soon as I saw his face, a wave of emotion swept over me. It reminded me of Joe. Sure, people resemble each other all the time, but there was something about his green eyes, that cute tiny nose, and his brunette hair. It echoed Joe's features so vividly. Call it a sixth sense or whatever you want, but a voice in my head suggested I go over to the parents and say hi to the boy, and so I did. Hey there, little one. You're a cute little button, aren't you? Hi, I'm Serena. Hi, I'm Taylor, and this is Paxton. I'm sorry, do we know you? No, you don't. Nice to meet you guys, though. I approached you because I had a small grandchild like your little one, but he passed away 2 years ago. Seeing your boy reminded me of him. I'm so sorry for your loss. This is Joey. Joey, wow, there's more than just physical resemblance. How old is he? He's 5, about to turn 6 soon. He looks adorable. You guys are lucky. Well, he's our foster kid, and we took him in about a year ago. Oh, is that so? Wow, I can't believe it. Yeah, but he's like one of our own in our hearts. He's in kindergarten right now. We moved to this town a year ago. Oh, one of my friends is a teacher at the school here. Whenever you want to begin with first grade, how about you give me a call? I can help you with the admission. Wow, you're a generous stranger. Yeah, I just like helping people out. You've only been here a year, and me, on the other hand, a whole lifetime. There's only so much an old woman can do. After grabbing the number, I left behind my basket and rushed to my car in the parking lot. As soon as I entered, I took a deep breath. A little boy named Joey was taken into foster care a year ago by his parents, who moved into town with him. I never got to go to the funeral, nor did I see the urns with ashes. I thought I was going crazy, but it started making sense. The boy really looked like Joe, my Joe. I drove back home and walked straight into the kitchen. Phil asked me about the groceries, but instead I spilled out the story of what happened in the grocery store. He thought I was coming up with theories, dismissing it as an unlikely truth. He told me to calm down, attributing it to a huge coincidence, claiming that coincidences happen all the time. Later that night, I couldn't even be mentally present at the dinner with our friends. I thought I was going crazy, but it started making sense. The boy really looked like Joe, my Joe. I drove back home and walked straight into the kitchen, and Phil asked me about the groceries, but instead I spilled out the story of what happened in the grocery store. He thought I was coming up with theories, dismissing it as an unlikely truth. He told me to calm down, attributing it to a huge coincidence, claiming that coincidences happen all the time. Later that night, I couldn't even be mentally present at the dinner with our friends. All I could think about was Joe. A week passed, and no matter how much Phil tried to convince me to let it go and to forget it, I couldn't. I was pretty sure about what I saw, and honestly, I couldn't even trust Kevin anymore. One day, I decided to call Taylor on the number she had given me and asked her to meet me at a cafe. I carried some photos I had of Joe, and we met. Taylor, thanks for meeting me. I need to share something with you. Of course, Serena. What's on your mind? I have been thinking about your son. I saw more than just a resemblance. I saw Joe in him. Take a look at these pictures. Wow, the resemblance is uncanny. This is for sure my Joey, I would say. This is quite something, right? Have you considered the possibility that Joey might be Joe? It's a wild idea, but stranger things have happened. We should take a grandparentage test to be sure. A test? Is that a thing? Yes, it's a DNA test that can determine if there's a grandparent-grandchild relationship. It could provide the answers you're looking for. That might be the solution. I just need to know the truth. I want you to know that no matter what happens, Taylor, whether Joey is Joe or not, I will not take him away from you. I just want to know the truth and expose my son-in-law's secret if there is one. Let's do it, Serena. It might bring some closure and clarity to you. After giving Taylor my sample for the grandparentage test, I kept the whole thing under wraps for a while, even from Phil. I didn't want people to think I was going crazy, not even my own husband. The days that followed were filled with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. 4 days later, a text from Taylor lit up my phone, and I could feel my heart racing as I opened it. The message answered all the questions that had been swirling in my mind. Serena, I have the results. Joey is Joe. Your instincts were right. Oh my God, my baby. I'm so glad he's alive. I knew it in my heart. Your little one is alive after all. Yay. Do you want to come over and visit him? Before that, I need to put a few things into place with my son-in-law. There are some conversations we need to have. Of course, Serena, take your time. When you're ready, we can plan a visit. I'm here to support you through all of this. Thank you, Taylor. This means the world to me. After telling Phil the whole story and showing him the photo of the test that Taylor had sent, he was just as shocked as I was. Phil apologized for not believing in it at first, but he was genuinely glad that we had found that Joe was still alive. However, the discovery left us with more questions, especially concerning Kevin and the circumstances surrounding Maria's death. What if Kevin had done something worse to Maria? The uncertainty lingered in our minds, urging us to seek answers face to face. Without wasting any time, we got into our car and drove 4 hours away to see him. The drive was filled with a mix of anticipation and anxiety, wondering what revelations awaited us. When we reached Kevin's place, this time we didn't bother asking for permission to get in. Determined to confront the questions that had been haunting us, I walked into the living room of Kevin's house with Phil by my side. Kevin, where are you? Serena, Phil, what are you two doing at this hour? Paris is upstairs. Please don't cause a scene. Where is Maria, Kevin? We just found out Joe is very much alive, and before more bad thoughts creep into my mind about what you did to Maria, I need answers. How did you get to know? God has his ways. Now tell us, where is Maria? What did you do to my daughter and her son? Okay, Maria, she's dead. The car accident, everything, it was real. The only difference was that Maria was in that car alone that day. She died within minutes of the crash. I didn't know what to do without Maria. I had a 3-year-old, for God's sake. I could not have moved on in life with him. No woman wants a guy with past baggage. I lied to you guys about the funeral and everything. The funeral was supposed to be on the 8th from the very start. So, you faked Joe's death. Not really. You and your side of the family were the only ones who I lied to. The funeral wasn't much of a funeral. It was just me, my parents, a couple of friends who knew that Joe was alive. They were the only people I trusted, and when I told them I wanted to give up on Joe, they supported me. I gave him up for adoption, and I don't know what happened next or where he is now. Joe somehow ended up in foster care, that's what happened. We all heard a stair creak, and there was a woman standing on the stairs with tears in her eyes, which I assumed was Paris. I heard everything, Kevin. Don't come back upstairs until I move out tomorrow. I don't want to hear another word. Babe, please, I can explain. You deserve this, Kevin. You and your disgusting family who supported this. I can't believe it. Don't think I'm letting you off the hook easily. I will be suing you. There is going to be an investigation. I'll go into all the details and get my daughter and my grandson the justice they deserve. I messed up, Serena. I didn't know how to handle everything after Maria's death. I thought I was doing what was best for Joe. What you did is unforgivable, Kevin. You robbed Joe of his family. Of us. What if he ended up somewhere bad? What kind of a dad are you? Please forgive me. I'll make sure you pay for this for the rest of your life. Right now, we're dealing with some legal stuff with Kevin. Our lawyer says he might end up in prison for a few months, and honestly, after what he did, he deserves it. Paris left him because of all the lies, and now Kevin's got a shady record and a tough past he can't run away from. Now Joe, Taylor and Paxton are taking care of him. They call him Joey. It was a tough decision for us, but we didn't want to take away the love and stability Taylor and Paxton could give him. We still see them every other weekend, and it's a mix of sad and okay feelings. We decided that as Joe gets older, we'll tell him everything. We want him to know about his past and why things happened the way they did. Being open like this is our way of helping Joe understand his story. I'm glad Joe ended up with Taylor and Paxton. He could have seen much worse. They're good parents to Joe, and it makes our hearts feel lighter. Time is passing and things are slowly getting better. The hurt from the past is still there, but having Taylor, Paxton and Joe around brings a different kind of happiness. Even though Maria is no longer with us, her memory stays in our hearts.